Hi there, welcome to the comprehensive guide on Microsoft Excel formulas and functions. In this new series, we'll be studying over 100 Excel formulas and functions in the functions library. This series will be in episodes, and this is the first episode. These slides, along with the exercise files, can be downloaded from the link in the description of this video. My name is Abaton Sharifdeen, and welcome to this tutorial. Without further ado, let's get started. Hi there, welcome back from the short break. The very first concept you need to understand while working with Excel formulas and functions is the formula syntax. It is important to know that all formulas in Excel start with an equal sign, then followed by the function name. The function name tells Excel what type of operation you want to perform. Immediately after the function name comes a parenthesis, or simply put, a bracket. Within the parentheses, you will find what is called arguments. An argument varies by functions. The argument provides Excel with details needed to evaluate a result. Note that arguments are separated by commas or semicolon depending on your location settings. Based on my location settings, arguments are separated by commas. Remember, not all arguments are required. Optional arguments are surrounded by square brackets like the instant number above. Also note that most functions you come across with require at least one argument, but sometimes don't require any at all, like now, today, rand, row, column, and so on. Remember that function names are not case sensitive. You can start writing a function with a capital letter or a small letter, and most times you do not require functions to perform basic arithmetic and logical operation. Like if you have instead a1 and b1, a 2 and a 5, you can easily sum them together by writing in another cell equals a1 plus b1 and you get a 7. You can also say a1 divided by b1, a1 greater than b1 or b1 less than c1. Also know that as you write formula in Excel, there is screen tips that will guide you through, and this is a great way to master Excel formulas and functions fast. So let's join to Microsoft Excel and do some practical. Alright, so back in Microsoft Excel, I have just two columns, column A and column B, filled with few numbers. I could come to cell D1 and type equals. Immediately I type equal, Excel knows I'm about starting to write a formula. You'll notice my ribbon bar is grayed out. I can't select any options except write a formula. So I can write sum and hit the tab key on my keyboard and provide number 1. I can provide 2, 3, 4. You'll notice after each number there's a comma. It's a comma to separate each argument. You can see number 1, number 2, number 3. So I can close that, hit enter, and it gives me a 9. Same way, I can type equals sum, hit the tab key on my keyboard and reference a cell like this. I'll close that and hit enter and I get my number. Same way, I can do the same thing, start writing a formula equals, then I reference a1 and use basic arithmetic operations like plus this a2 plus a3 plus a4, hit enter, I get same results. Also, while you're writing a formula, you notice a screen tips I mentioned earlier, and I type that, you see, and I type match, I get a description for the function, which is a cool way to learn Excel formulas and functions fast. When I hit the tab key, it shows the various arguments for that function. I can comma to move to the next argument, comma to move to the next argument, and I can tab out and hit enter if that works fine. So there you have it. Excel's formulas and functions in brief. There are two basic ways to perform calculations in Excel. You can either use a formula or a function. The challenge is, what is the difference between the two? So a formula is an expression that operates on values in a range of cells or a cell. For example, as I did earlier in Microsoft Excel, I said equals A1 plus A2 plus A3. I was referencing the content, the numbers in those cells, and I get 60, as you can see on my screen. While a function are predefined or engineered formulas in Excel that carry out specific calculation. For example, when I call on a function called sum, the sum function sums all values from A1 to A3 and still give me same result. In Microsoft Excel, there are tons of ways or thousands of ways to achieve the same thing. Remember, functions eliminate laborious manual entry of formulas and have Roman-friendly names like the sum, count, which counts, row, which gives you the row number, and so on. Components of a formula. Immediately you input the equal sign in a cell, Excel knows you are about to start writing a formula. It is important to know that your formula can contain a function, a reference, a constant, or an operator. When you include a function in your formula, it helps you to carry out specific calculation. For example, the today function returns the current date in your locale. A reference refers to individual cell or range of cells, like A2 shows or makes use of the value in a cell A2 within your formula. Constants are numbers or text values entered directly into a formula, such as 2 or a text. Operators like the caret operator raises a number to a power, and the asterisk operator multiplies. You use the plus and the minus to add and subtract values, and the slash to divide in Excel. Remember, you can combine or nest up to 64 levels of function within a formula. Reference types. Reference types allow you to recycle formulas across multiple cells and perform multiple calculations in splits of seconds. By default, cell references are relative in Microsoft Excel. This allows the reference to change as the formula is copied to a new cell. This is a technical stuff, so let's jump into Microsoft Excel and do some practical. Alright, so back in Microsoft Excel, I have a bunch of products here with their quantity and the price. So I would love to get the amounts in column D2. So simply put, you agree with me, we'll just multiply quantity times price. I'll type equals B2. I will introduce the asterisk sign times C2, then press enter. Immediately I get the amount for bread. I would love to do the same thing for butter. Let's do it the manual way first. Equals B3 times C3, and I hit enter. You notice I'm performing same calculation over and over again. This is where reference types comes in. I will go back to the first cell, Ctrl Shift arrow down, then delete. Now let's perform same operation again. Equals B2 times C3, and I hit enter. So rather than performing same calculation over again for D3, D4, and D5, I can easily drag my formula down or double click. If I double click, it auto fills the formula down. I'll Ctrl Z, or I'll prefer to drag down like this, and boom, you can see all of that cell gets populated in split of seconds, and that is what is called relative cell referencing. Let's go to D2 and press F2 on your keyboard. You notice the result we are getting in D2, it is because of B2 times C2. I'll press escape, come back here, press F2. You notice we started with D2. How come it is selecting B3 and C3? Excel is working by default. Excel is smart. It notices you want to calculate for the next cell, so automatically it calculates it for you using relative cell referencing. So we are back on our slide. So let's talk about what is called fixed cell referencing and mixed cell referencing. So the dollar sign is used to create what is called fixed cell referencing. And in fixed cell referencing, you notice a dollar sign in front of the column and in front of the row. In this case, we have A1 and there's a dollar sign in front of A and a dollar sign in front of 1. You can also fix just the column or the row, which is called mixed. And in this case, there will be a dollar sign in front of the column that you want to be fixed, or a dollar sign in front of the row that you want to be fixed. Also, this is technical stuff, so let's jump back into Microsoft Excel and practice. So back in Microsoft Excel, let's say we would love to know the products with the highest amount. Merely looking at the numbers, because it's a few number of rows, you can easily say, oh, it's butter, then followed by milk, then followed by sugar, then bread is cheap. But what if we want to get them in percentage? Because when you have some numbers in percentages, it's easy to read. Let's get the grand total for them first. For the whole product, I can easily use the shortcut Alt equals, and I hit enter, and I get the grand total. Boom, I need to give it's some space there. So we have the grand total, and we need to get the percentage per product. That is dividing each individual product amount by the grand total. I'll just come to this cell, E2, I type equals for the bread amount divided by the grand total, and I hit enter, and boom, we got 10%. Let's say we want to calculate same thing for butter, right? Manually, like this divided by this also, we got 34%, which is stressful. You agree with me? You like the easy way, right? So let's do it the fastest way we can. When I come back, so you notice in our calculation we always want to reference the grand total. So does that make sense if we make the grand total to be fixed? You agree, right? Yeah, kind of cool. So I'll go back to the cell and type equals, select this cell, divide by the grand total. Now just wait before you press the enter key on keyboard. Just press the F4 key once. And I do that, you notice the F4 key adds a dollar sign to column D and a dollar sign to row 6. So that cell is always fixed within my formula. I can now press enter. We get same result, 10% as earlier. Then you can easily drag down, and boom, you notice it automatically calculates the rest of the column for us in split of seconds. When we check that, press F2, you notice this column is fixed, and that is what is called fixed cell referencing. While working in formulas, it helps you to calculate large number of rows in split of seconds. Imagine having 10, 20, 100 of rows. Alright, so let's take it a little bit further and practice what is called mixed cell referencing, where you can have a column fixed and a row relative, or a column relative and a row fixed. So in this case, we have a bunch of apps, and rather than looking at the values in numbers like we have up here, we want to look at them in percentage and kind of compare how well each app performed throughout the 4 quarters better. So it's quite simple. Just divide for quarter 1 for the game app by the grand total, quarter 2 for the game app by the grand total, which is quite straightforward. We'll press equals, then this cell divided by the grand total for the app, and you agree we should press enter. But wait, just before you press enter, if you press F4 key on your keyboard once, it fixes both the column F and row 2. But you notice each for the app, each grand total is in column F. So we want this F2 to move to F3 to move to F4 when we copy it down to this cell here. So all I have to do is just press F4 one more time. You notice it is now the row that is fixed. I don't want that. I want it to move from F2 to F3 to F4, but the F should not move to G. All I have to do is press F4 one more time, and boom, it fixes column F. So my row here is relative, while this my B2 here can move to B3 here, can move to C3 rather, D3 and E4 when I drag it to the right like this. And that's what is called mixed cell referencing. Let's press enter. So I will drag to the right. You notice when I drag to the right, you notice it populates the result. When I press F2 here to check and see, so my B2 move to C2 here. So my grand total is still being referenced for column F. So I'll just press escape, go back here, escape, and drag to the right here, cool, and drag right here. Imagine I was able to calculate the percentage for 12 number of cells within split seconds without stressing myself. So having a good understanding of cell referencing is my number one tip to know and to take hold of while working with Microsoft Excel formulas and functions. So let's talk about navigating the functions library. So the functions library contains built-in functions that are grouped together and placed in a common location. So this is where you can access all the old formulas and functions in Microsoft Excel. All you have to do is go to the formulas tab, then you click on the functions library. You see the function library section. You can select from the categories of function, or you can click the insert function and the insert function dialog box pops up. Also, you can just press the F1 key just before the formula bar and the insert function dialog box also pops up. So let's just jump into Microsoft Excel and I'll walk you through it in a minute. So back in Microsoft Excel, so to access the functions library, you can easily just go to the home tab and press the formulas tab here. You notice you have a whole lot of functions here in the functions library. You can easily just select the logical category and press and. Immediately I press that, I will jump straight to the function arguments. I don't like that. I can also use the insert function. This brings up the insert function dialog box where I can select the whole category. Then I can scroll down and select a particular category that I am interested in. Or I can just say, let's select the is blank. This is not even a category, I just selected all, but this is where you can select the whole categories of function. I can select maybe logical operators, then it brings the all functions under the logical conditions operators. I can select the one I go, maybe length. When I press that, so it brings up this function argument again. I'll just cancel that out. Or you can also use this F1 key here. When I press that, I jump straight to the what? To the insert function dialog box. Caveat here, I don't really like using this method to work with Excel formulas and functions. This is the lazy way. I don't like that, and I won't encourage you to use that. The best way I love to do that is just selecting Excel, type equals, and start writing my formula. That way, you will easily master all Excel formulas and functions within some period of time. So let's take a minute to talk about the common errors that you run into while working with Microsoft Excel formulas and functions and how to fix them. So the number one error is what is called the hash mark error, and what this means is that the column isn't wide enough to display values. So to fix it, all you have to do is drag or double click the column border to increase width, or right click to set custom column width. So I'll jump into Microsoft Excel, show you the error, and we'll come back here. So to recreate the hash mark error, I'll just select a cell here. Let's select this and make it a little bit wider, and let's make it a little bit smaller. And you notice we just created the hash mark error. To fix it, just double click here, it auto fits. So the next type of error is what is called the value error, and what this means is that formula is typed wrongly, and it's a very general error, so take note of that. So to fix it, check that your formula isn't trying to perform arithmetic operation on a text string or cell formatted as text. It's as you are trying to divide a divided by 0, you get it now, or you have some numbers in a column but the column is actually formatted as a text. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and recreate this error type. So back in Microsoft Excel, I would love to recreate the value error. So to do that, I'll just say equals this cell here divided by this cell here, which doesn't really make sense, a number divided by a text. When I press enter, you notice I get the value error. And also this column is actually formatted as a text. You notice here this is a text. So if I can just format it as a general, if I come here, press enter, I'll still get that error because I'm dividing by what? By a text. So the next error type is the NA error, or not available error. So what this means is that formula can't find what it is being asked to look for, and you run into this error while working with lookup formulas. When we get there, you will notice this type of error also, but let's recreate it here. So how to fix it? Make sure that the lookup values still exist in the source data or your reference are valid. So come on with lookup values. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and recreate this error. To recreate the NA error, I have probably type sugar here, and I'd love to get the price or the amount for sugar in the next cell. This is 399. So to do that, I can use a formula called VLOOKUP. Don't worry, when we get to writing formulas and function, we will deal with each individual formula in full. So I love to look for sugar, comma, look for sugar in this array. I'll press F4 to fix that, and look for sugar amount. I want to return the value in column 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll type 4. Now type 0 to give me the exact value for sugar. Now press enter. You notice it gives me 3.99 immediately. Now let's probably change this from sugar to another product that is not on the list. Let's change it to maybe jam. When I press enter, you see immediately I get the NA error, but there's no jam on the list, so you can't find the amount for jam in column D. So the next error type is what is called div 0 error, and formula is dividing by 0 or an empty cell. That is what it means. To fix that, check the value of your divisor is not 0, or use an if error statement to display an alternative if 0 is your divisor. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and recreate this error. So to recreate the div 0 error, all I have to do is just come to a cell and type equals, let's divide price by 0. I'll type 0 manually, now hit enter. You see I get what? Div 0. I can also just reference that. I'll just say okay, divide by an empty cell, and I press 0, I also get the div 0 error. So the next error type, we'll look at what is called the ref error. And what this means is that formula refers to a cell that is not valid or that is deleted. So to fix this, make sure you didn't move, delete, or replace cells that are referenced in your formula. So let's jump to Microsoft Excel and recreate the ref error. Back in Microsoft Excel, let us recreate the ref error. You'll notice that this amount column here, we're using the quantity column and the price column. What if we delete one of the columns? So let's do that. I'll just come here and delete this, and boom, you notice we get the ref error. We're also using the values in that column, so we also get the ref error in this column. I'll just Ctrl Z to do that, and my formula worked back. So the last error type, we'll be looking at what is called the name error, and this means that there's a typo in the formula name. When you spell your formula incorrectly, you're going to run into this type of error. So make sure that what function name are correctly spelled, quotation and colons are used when needed. Also, we have the null error and the num error. So to create the name error, remember in our formula here, we're actually using sum to get the grand total for the amounts column. Let's say we just probably spell, instead of sum, we spell son and press enter. You notice we just created the name error, and it goes, oh bro, what the hell is son? You get that? So you have to spell your formulas correctly to make sure you don't have the name error. I'll just go back and spell that correctly and press enter, and it works perfectly fine. So thank you for staying to the end. These are all I have for you in this episode. If you found this tutorial useful and you'd love to see more, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumb up, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Should I continue doing this cool stuff, or any feedback you have for me? That would be really helpful. Try to support the channel by sharing this video and giving it a thumbs up. And bye for now. I will see you in the next episode where we start working with each individual formulas in each category. Bye for now.